everyone to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. My name is Colin, and I'm your host. This week's episode is with Dan Alten. Dan is a traveling comic, stand-up comedian, and we had a show earlier tonight. I think it went relatively well.
Yeah. It was a fun time.
It was a fun time in good old Clinton, Iowa. I had never performed there. Had you performed there before?
No, I didn't even know it was a place.
You didn't even.
I did not know Clinton, Iowa was a place, and now I love it.
Yeah.
It's great.
And you're learning how maps work.
Yeah, Clinton, Iowa. It's a cool spot.
Yeah.
It's if you don't know where the Quad Cities are, I don't even know how I would give you directions.
Yeah.
It's in Iowa.
It's in Iowa. It's one of those mini Iowa river towns.
Oh yeah, it was. That is nice. It is nice to be on the banks of the Mississippi River.
Oh yeah. Do you do any fishing? You're a fishing guy?
I'm not. I don't like the worm. I don't element, and I don't like taking the hook off the fish.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm very uninterested in that.
Very uninterested in that.
So then that's always the issue. Is like when I'm fishing, I'm just like, God, I hope I don't catch a fish.
Because
I'll have to take
it's a whole thing,
off.
or have someone else do it for you, and then you feel like less of a man.
Well, it's not. I don't care about the less of a man thing.
You don't even care.
I just don't want the fish to be injured.
Yeah.
Chances are I'm not going to eat that fish.
Yeah.
So I'm just, I don't want to injure a fish for no reason.
Yeah, and just throw it back.
Yeah.
I don't understand the throwback thing. Like, if you're going to catch a fish, you might as well eat it because you already put it through enough, you know?
Well, sometimes you need to get it bigger.
Yeah, that's true. It's not
you
a big enough fish.
Plump it up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Plump up your fish.
Plump up your fish. That's like the main tagline of this whole podcast. But yeah, I wanted to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. Just tell people who you are.
Dan, I breed fish.
Dan.
Well, I don't breed them. I plump them up. No, I'm Dan Alten. I'm a comedian out of Louisville, Kentucky, America, and I travel around the country doing comedy full time as my job and my calling from above.
Calling from above. That's a tall order.
Well, I'm a tall guy, so if it's above me, it's got to be at least 6'3".
You're 6'2".
Yeah.
Ooh, coming in with the height.
Well, yeah, if it's a tall order for me, it's taller than me.
Yeah. So, how long have you been doing the road thing? I know you've been doing comedy for how long now?
A billion years. No, I've been doing it for 10 years.
10 years? Okay, yeah.
I've been doing it full time for like 5 years.
Okay.
And then I've been touring and stuff for like 7 or 8 years probably.
Okay.
So I used to like tour and I would just have shitty like jobs at restaurants.
Okay.
And then I would So it's very easy if you don't have like a day job you have to take off from. Like it's easy to make the amount of money you make at a shitty restaurant job doing comedy if you like focus and stick with it for like a while. So slowly it was just like, all right, well, I don't need to have shitty restaurant jobs because I have enough comedy opportunities.
Yeah, it seems like you have a pretty good network too that you've developed over the years.
Oh, I go all over, and then I'll go to like weird, small, tiny places that people don't like think of going. So then it's like Clinton, Iowa.
Yeah.
And then we'll all have a great time, and it's great. And
yeah, a lot of people came up to you
after
the
bunch
show,
of,
so that was cool.
Oh, yeah, a bunch of people bought shirts and shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and when you sell a bunch of shirts in a small town, it's fun because you're like, a percentage of this town has my name on their body now.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go sell a bunch of shirts in Chicago, you're like, I'm leaves in the fall breeze.
You know try that in a big town.
Try that in a big town.
Yeah.
No, it was cool. So yeah, I do that so I can stay busy because I'll go wherever.
Because you seem to
I'll
do
go to
like
Beaver Dam, Kentucky.
Beaver Dam, Kentucky.
Not anymore. They lost their brewery that we used to do shows at.
Oh, really?
But that town, I think, is 500 people.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But they got nothing else going on. So they're
rude. They got a ton going on, pal. They got beavers stopping the river. No, they got I don't think they have beavers, actually. Or if they have, they've been long hunted for pelts. You ever hunt beaver? That's not what we're supposed to talk about.
That's not what we're supposed to talk about.
They hunt beaver. But yeah, no, I'll go wherever. Because, yeah, everyone needs to laugh. And it is true that when you're in smaller towns, they appreciate you more. But then it's also like if you're in a smaller town, odds are that a lot of the people there are not going to be your kind of vibe, too. Because if it's like a smaller town, it's just like
And you're performing at the only bar that's there, and they're like, people are there to socialize.
People are there. People are also there to because they're out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Whereas if they live in like a big city, they're not going to be like, oh, there's a comedy show. That doesn't happen in this town. We should go. And then sometimes that's bad because then you're like, okay, well now there's just like two 75-year-olds sitting up front because they got to the show an hour and a half early.
Yeah.
After eating dinner at this dive
5 p.m.
bar that ironically has the word "and grill" at the end.
Yeah.
But it's there ironically. And then it's just an old couple, and then I'd scramble up there, and then they're just like, what the fuck? Whereas if you're in like a big city, that couple is like, well, we're just going to go see a play.
Yeah.
Or we're going to go see a specific show that's a clean comedy show for old people.
Yeah.
Because we live in New York, and that's a thing.
Some old people like the raunchy shit.
Oh, yeah, they like whatever. There's that couple in the back on the one couch tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Who I thought before the show I was like, dang, this isn't necessarily gonna be the flavor they hoped for, but it seemed like very much to be the flavor they enjoyed. They were loving it. That guy was loving weird, absurd things, dirty stuff, and he was getting down.
Yeah,
I think he bought a button, which is like for an old man to buy a button. That's dangerous. He could pop his colostomy bag.
What? Oh yeah, you said. Which country singer did you make laugh that you mentioned tonight? Was that
Toby
a real story?
Keith? That is a real story. Shout out TK.
Shout out TK.
No, Toby Keith. Yeah, he's a fan of mine. He saw me do comedy once in Norman, Oklahoma. It was at like. I did a show, and then there's an open mic after.
Okay.
At another venue. So I go do the open mic, and then I get there, and they're like, oh, by the way, Toby Keith's here. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, he lives in this town, and he and his wife come to this bar. It was at like an Italian restaurant. And they're like, they have dinner, and then sometimes they watch the open mic. And then he was up front, and then I go up, and I do my 5 minutes at the open mic. And I don't give a fudge about Toby Keith. So I was like, well, I'm at an open mic, so I'm going to do like the 2 newest jokes I'm working on. And then also, I guess I'll just do weird, dirty stuff to see what Toby Keith thinks of it. Yeah. So then that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun if I get to be like, hey, this is the weirdest, grossest joke I have. Toby Keith punched me in the face with it. But no, he like loved it. I did an inappropriate joke. It's a playful pun that's very inappropriate.
Yeah. And
he loved it. And he like turned to his wife and was like, doing like that thing.
Yeah.
And he's a big guy. He's a strong country boy. And his wife is an attractive little lady because he's a famous man.
Mm-mm.
So if you're a famous man, you get like, you know what I mean? He's not going to be dating like a 6'8" Swedish woman from like Minnesota who's like, I grew up on the farm.
Yeah.
So then he's got so I made Toby Keith laugh so hard that his wife was like in danger of being crushed by him laughing into her body.
Yeah, that's something to.
He's too big to have laughed into even a specific part of her body. Because he's so big that, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can put that on your
Like,
resume.
you and I are roughly the same size, so I could laugh into your arm.
Yeah.
But if you were, like, this big, I couldn't really pick a spot to laugh into.
And that would, it wouldn't go well.
Yeah.
So she was in danger.
Yeah.
But that's something to put on the resume for sure.
The Toby Keith thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's cool. He's a big star, isn't he? I genuinely don't know country. I know...
He is.
I don't
He's
know,
been around
like,
for a long time. I don't know country either. I know just...
Modern country. And by that, I mean a guy from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
He's probably retired.
Yeah.
My favorite element of that is I like to imagine that Toby Keith goes to this open mic and watches all these dumb college kids do like their edgy bullshit.
Yeah.
And in their mind, they're like, man, Toby Keith likes us. And then there's just going to be a hit country song in a year that's just like, Oklahoma open mic night. Watching a bunch of fucking jackasses screw around. And
yeah, because they're all OU kids.
Yeah, and all these kids are just going to be like, damn, we thought he liked us. He's just calling specific ones of us out in the bridge. Adrian, you're never going to be famous. And then Adrian's mom's just like, I heard you on the radio. Everyone knows your name.
Yeah, because they're kind of famous.
Yeah. No, but I went back last time I was in Norman, and my show was also on the night of that open mic. And then I went to the open mic after, and Toby Keith was not there.
Sad.
But a funny thing happened. This girl who was bartending where my show was, which is a different bar in town, was like, "You guys are going to that open mic? That's a fun place." And I'm like, "Did you used to go hang out there at Othello's, the Toby Keith popular spot?" And then she went, "Yeah, when I was in college, we had a professor who, if we wanted extra credit, we could come watch him do stand up at the open mic, and then also he'd go out and drink with us after."
What a.
And then I said, I jokingly went, "Wow, that guy sounds cool," like sarcastically. And then she went, "He was cool. He would get us drunk." And then I don't think she realized what was going on. I was like, "No, this is a weird story to tell."
Yeah. This guy is praying.
This guy's doing weird things. Well, not even praying. It's just like, dude, don't make these kids watch you do an open mic.
Yeah.
These kids have their lives ahead of them.
I feel weird about, because I am in leadership at my job, and like I have people that report to me. I tell them that I do comedy, but I'm like not like, "Hey, follow me on Instagram or else," or like get some extra credit points or
get some extra credit.
Get a raise.
You got to come to the open mic. He's like, "I want Toby Keith to think I have a following."
I hate being a professor. This sucks.
I wish Toby Keith saw my full set. I bet he'd like it. I would love to talk being on the road with Toby Keith.
Being on the road.
He's like, "Yeah, dude, Toby, I'm a road dog too." And then he's probably like,
"Do you like how I said road dog?
I remember
too.
before I was famous. I remember doing whatever." And I'd be like, "Yeah, you ever play Toby? You ever play Fayetteville, Arkansas?" And I'll be like, "I was playing it before Walmart moved to Bentonville." And then I'll be like, "God damn. You want to do a show together sometime?" And he'll be like, "Absolutely not."
Absolutely not.
My fans would murder you.
So you are doing how many shows and how many days was it again?
1 billion shows in 1 billion and 1 day.
Yeah.
I'm giving myself a day off. No, I'm doing I don't know, like 20. I think it's something like 28 shows in like 32 days or something. Basically, I did like 5 days, and then I was home for 3 days, and then I was gone for 12 days, and then I was home for 3 days, and then now I'm gone for like 10 days, and then I'll be home for like a few weeks.
Okay.
So a lot of that's fun math for you to do at home.
That's fun.
And then we pause, and there's like a little clock at the top, telling people to go get their pens and calculators.
I'll have to do that when I edit this.
Get your nearest adult to check your work. Yeah, no, it's a lot of comedy, but then that's hey, that's what happens when you accidentally book too many shows in that much time. No, it's wonderful. But I like to be on the road, and it's fun. Usually I try to space it out more.
Last night I got the door, and hopefully tonight I'll have a full door.
Yeah, we got half the door.
That's one of my favorite jokes ever.
Sometimes I feel like I'll get a screen door. This thing's kind of flimsy.
Yeah, that's a Mitch Hedberg joke.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I'm big Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah. I ran into a guy who claimed to do shows with him in the 90s. And I looked it up, and I was like, he's right. He wasn't lying.
No, yeah, that's the thing. That's
crazy.
not crazy.
Yeah, well, he was out in L.A., and he's like, dude.
Also, if you just do stand-up long enough,
I know a lot of people who know Sam Talent.
When you're
a lot
famous,
of people.
Someday I'll be like, I knew that guy.
I know that guy.
I knew Colin Starjack.
Starjack.
I know Sam Talent. You know Sam Talent?
Yeah.
It's funny how big Sam is now. Because I remember when he was like probably like 250. No, I'm just joking. I don't think he ever was. I think he came out at 280. No,
dude,
but
he looks like he's 50 years old, and he's what, 35?
You think he looks really old? I guess he does. He's got like some grays coming in. He I could be wrong, but I think he's like young. He might be younger than 35.
Yeah.
Cuz he's always younger than I think he is, but then at this point I know that.
Yeah.
So it's messed with my mind.
Yeah. But he blew the fuck up like the last year.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's funny how massively famous, because he went from a guy who like I knew from being like a great like underground comedian guy / like a guy I knew like as like a friend of mine, to now he's like famous, because it used to be I'd go on the road and people would be like, "Oh, I know Sam also," and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, we both like know this person." But now it's like just everyone knows him because they're famous. Like obviously they do. But he used to tour so much that it's like he was famous already.
Yeah, he was
underground famous.
Yeah, he was hitting the road all the time.
And then like with comedy people, like everyone, like so it was fascinating.
It's weird how small the world actually is, like, and all these people who know other people, like,
that's one cool thing. Like I don't post online and shit like a lot or at all really. But then every once in a while someone will like post a thing of mine, or someone had a thing go viral once and they were wearing my shirt in the video.
Oh, really?
And they had like they did like a weird craft thing they do, but they're wearing my shirt, and then all these comments were like, "Holy shit, it's like a Dan Alten shirt." I know the Dan Alten, blah blah blah. And then I've had shit of mine where it's like all these people who like don't follow me on Instagram or anything, but it just like it comes up on their feed, and they're just like, "Oh my god, I saw you at the whatever the." The Benton Harbor County Fair.
Yeah.
I'd love to. If Benton Harbor County Fair, if you're watching, I'd love to come.
Love to do me a fair.
Love to have some blueberries and hang out. But no, so it's like that is the weird thing. Is like you're like, oh yeah, the world's like smaller.
But how do you deal with like the is there loneliness on the road, or like certain type of stress, or just like do you just try to just enjoy every bit of it you can, or
I try to enjoy it, but it's very manic being on the road. It's because it's like for me at least, because it's some people are like they'll do like, all right, well I'm at a club and then there's 3 days where I'm just sort of bumming around doing like open mics or whatever. But me, it's very much like each day matters. Each day is a day at the job. Like there's no sense of like, well, Friday and Saturday I'm going to make more money than another day of the week. To me, it's like, nah, every day, a Monday, it's all an opportunity of equal value. Then because of that, it's super stressful, and you like mentally like live or die by every day a lot, which like, sucks.
Yeah, because if you bomb,
or if like the money sucks, or if like some other like weird X factor happens, it like fucks with you and comedy's such like a mental snowball.
Oh yeah.
That it's like if you bomb and then you're like, well damn, I'm in like Nebraska and I'm like all alone and like I should be like home, like my girlfriend needs me to like walk our dog or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm out here and didn't make any money and I just bombed, and then that means you're probably gonna bomb that night because then you're in a shitty mood.
Yeah.
And then you're like, so that type of thing. So a lot of the road is just like staying out, trying to avoid that. Which doing well helps. And doing well and making good money helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I don't know. It's like, it's very easy to just like drink on the road too.
Yeah.
Which is how a lot of people do it. But thankfully, I don't like drinking that much.
Did you go through a phase where you did?
Yeah. You're just trying to bring up things I told you earlier. You're just trying to plant seeds. No, but it's like, on the road, it helps because it's like, you're just bored, and it's like, all right, well, this way I can like after the show just like turn my mind off and then go sleep on like some weird guy's like kid's room while the kid is at the mom's house for the week or whatever.
Yeah. How many kid beds have you slept in?
A lot. I always do a sleeping bag on top as opposed to sleeping in the kid's bed because that always seems weird.
Yeah, it seems a little.
But I never thought a common thing in my life would be like divorced parents sharing custody and me sleeping in
the spare room.
The room that is unoccupied. But hey, man, so many fucking comics have that's the case. That's their living situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So it's like, I don't know. So that stuff helps, but then it's also like just having like a hobby that you can do, or like vague work. Like I imagine one of the reasons like big comics get so bored on the road and shit is because
that's all they have. It's comedy.
Well, all they have is comedy, but then it's like me, I have to be like, all right, fuck. Well, what do I have to do? I got to make like an Eventbrite for this show, or I got to like post in some dumb Facebook group. Like I got to do shit to get people out.
Yeah.
But if you're like famous and you're manager and you have like a press person, it's like my job is just to show up.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
And they booked me like a hotel. I don't have to go find Colin Starjack's house and then be like, where do I park? oh, cool, it's like a couch. Oh, this is what your house looks like.
Are you saying
Okay.
my name wrong on purpose?
Yeah. But it's like but it's like, yeah, you don't have to. I don't have to do that. So then it's everything's more boring. I think probably for those people.
Yeah, because you just show up, like
Yeah.
you said.
So there's a vague element to me where it's like it's always nice. 'Cause it's like, okay, well, I'm at.
You had to put in.
I
a lot
wonder
of
what
work.
this. I wonder what a house in this part of Memphis is like. And then you go to some guy's house in that part of Memphis, and then the next day you're like, ooh, the club got me a hotel. This will be nice. And then you're all excited that you're in some shitty hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day you're like, ooh, this club got me a nice hotel. And then you're excited you're in a nice hotel.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, now I'm at some guy's house where he's got a bass I can play. This is way cooler than that nice hotel. And then the next day you're like, ooh, I got a hotel. This is way better than that bass. I can take a shower. And then, like, but if every night is just a nice hotel, you're probably like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too monotonous.
Too
It's not that
monotonous.
exciting. It's not exciting.
It's a crowd full of people already excited to see me. Whereas to me, it's like I show up. Who knows what it's going to be? It's going to be two bald guys with their arms crossed. Tonight's show had two audience members who were bald men with their arms crossed.
Yeah.
But they were enjoying the shows thoroughly.
They were enjoying it.
the
Yeah.
funniest body like pose / hair.
Yeah. Did you see a lot of nods?
Do I or did I?
From those guys, like when they weren't laughing, did they just nod?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed myself doing that too. Like, I know when a comedian's really good when I not only just acknowledge that it was a good joke with like a nod or something, but if I actually laugh out loud.
I like when
Like
people
you got
make
me
fall
once
over.
for sure. Like, 'cause, yeah, you had me fall over one time. Not fall over, but I don't remember
You
what
gave
the
your
joke was.
knees a peck on the
Yeah.
peck. No, I like making people physical. I like needing to slow down because
Because there's so much.
because the audience is
Yeah.
whipped up into such a frenzy that they can't possibly keep up.
They can't stop.
And then I have to begrudgingly slow down and treat them like babies,
Yeah.
as if anyone could keep up at that pace of laughter.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be speed metal of comedy.
So you did bring up in your set some this is fair game, and I wrote it on the board.
Dan Alten.
Dan Alten. Your name.
Colin wrote on the board Dan Alten. And then under that he wrote bipolar, and under that he wrote comedy on the road.
That's it.
Just in case we forgot
Just
any
in
of those
case
three
we
things.
forgot any of those two things.
Yeah. No, I think it's more so. I just take like antidepressants, like Sertraline, like Zoloft stuff. But then I think it's definitely like mania, but it's like manageable, like a healthier way. But that's part of like the road stuff. Is you're like, my girlfriend always says when I come home from the road, I'm too like I'm all wired and shit. But it's like you have to be because you have to turn on whatever, and then you got to turn. You aren't in control of your rhythm as much.
Yeah.
Like right now in this town, I'm an hour. This whole tour, I'm an hour. I'm in Central Time, and normally I'm in Eastern Time.
Oh, okay.
So then it's like first few days, you're like, oh boy. And like if I go to Denver, I'm 2 hours behind normal stuff.
Yeah.
And then those cool kids will be like, we're having an 11:30 p.m. show. And then I'm like, well, to me, this feels like 1:30 a.m.
Yeah.
But because you're on the road and you're doing your job, you're like, all right, well,
You got to do it.
gotta get in the zone.
Yeah.
Gotta get ready to go run up and down the alleyway.
So when did you discover that you were bipolar? Or were you diagnosed, or you just kind of like, this just makes sense?
Oh, I was just really like depressed all the time, and then would like just go have like waves where I'd be up and down and shit. But yeah, no, I was probably like in college. I was like 21, 20, I guess 20. Yeah, I don't know. Then just went to a therapist, and they were like, "Oh, you should probably try antidepressants." And then that worked, but then there was still the element of like the energy up and down. But then that just it was whatever.
You just kind of had to figure out the dosage, or
I mean, yeah,
kind of.
This is what normal medical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lucked out that I didn't have to like try a bunch of different shit. Like it kind of. Oh, that's what it was. I had relatives who had success with that, which I guess is like a good way of doing it. Like genuinely, if you
it's genetically.
generally, yeah, the genetics are a good indication. Yeah, so I was lucked out with that.
Do you know which bipolar you have?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
These are all like medical questions. I don't know. I have
Yeah.
no
Well, there's
interest
bipolar
in
1,
it.
there's bipolar 2, and then like
I don't even know if that's what I was trying to imply. I don't even know if that's the proper.
yeah.
I don't even know if that's what a doctor would call it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I just know comedy, man.
I just know comedy, man. Well, you know highs and lows though.
Oh,
And
yeah. I know living life. I
Yeah.
don't know names of medical things.
So when you started doing comedy on the road and traveling more and be like, this is what I'm gonna do full time, did anyone like in your family or your friends say you're crazy?
No, not really, because it's a lot easier if you lower the expectations of the type of job you're gonna have. It's like easier to do comedy. Like if you're like, oh, I'm just working at like a shitty restaurant, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna do comedy. Your parents are less like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, I'm in school to be a doctor, and then you're gonna do comedy, they're like, this is a weird thing to do.
Yeah, like right now I have a really good job.
Exactly.
And if I were to leave that job and start doing comedy, people would be like,
There's no need to leave it. Like even with my dumb job, it's not like I was like, I'm doing comedy full time. I quit. It was like, all right, well now I work basically half the month because I'm always on the road and I'm like always giving away shifts. And then,
so you currently still have a job?
No, I haven't had a job in 5 years.
This is a weird sidetrack, but so you've been in a relationship for how long now?
Skateboard brand. Oh, I've been in a relationship. When did COVID start? I've been in a
2020?
relationship since the fall of 2019. Since like I guess November, December of 2019.
Okay.
So like 4 years. We have a loose start time, which means we have like no anniversary date, which means it's hard to track time.
Yeah.
It's hard to just be like, we're coming up on 4 years. But yeah, I guess we're coming up on 4 years.
And how did you meet? I know a lot of people struggle with meeting people these days with all the online stuff and all that bullshit.
We met on Tinder or Bumble. We matched once or twice, and then both did that thing where we like matched, and then just like nothing happened, and then one of us deleted it, and then just did other things with our life.
Yeah.
And then we matched again, and then I was like, "Hey, I'm about to like leave town for like a month-long tour, and I'm just gonna be like on the road, like in my own little like world. But when I get back, we should chat," which is like a weird first message to send to a person.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna be gone for a month.
Yeah.
Chill out.
But she was like, "That's weird," and then eventually was like, "Oh, okay." 'Cause I think we like followed each other on Instagram, so we'd be like, you see each other's stories, and she was like, "Okay, this guy, he doesn't seem like crazy," and he is in fact on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So then we met, and then we've lived together for a few years, I guess. Now we moved in with one another, and we have a dog. And she works from home, so then when I'm not on the road, I'm just like at home annoying her. And then she goes, "When are you going back on the road?" And then I go on the road, and then she goes, "You're on the road for how long? That's too long." And then I go, "You told me to go on the thing."
Yeah.
And then yeah, no, it's fun. It's nice.
On the road, when you're on the road,
On
how
the
often
road
do you
again.
do like check-ins? Because you said you're not a guy. You don't seem like a guy that's really glued to your phone. So.
Oh no, I hate phones.
Yeah.
She doesn't really like phones either, or talking on the phone. So we're like we'll text and stuff, and then we'll talk sometimes, but we're not very like chatty on the phone because neither of us really like talking on the phone as like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we like go. I think people would be surprised how long we go not like talking on the phone, which is, I don't know, like a few days or whatever. But then we're like are texting or whatever.
Okay.
Then you send each other a photo. You go
A little selfie there.
Selfie.
Yeah.
You go, "Look, it's me dancing to a Cars tribute band. I know you've been asleep for 3 hours now. But when you wake up, it'll be funny."
Yeah.
And then you'll send me a nice message, and then when I wake up 3 hours after that, I'll heart react it.
Mm-hmm.
And then later we'll call each other, and then you'll be like, "I'm eating dinner," and then I'll be like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm almost to the Quad Cities."
It's like,
Guess we'll talk later.
Yeah, she's like, I'm in a needle fell. I already texted you everything interesting to say.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the key. If you're going to talk on the phone, you should just talk on the phone. But the problem is texting and talking on the phone.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I going to call you and then be like, did you get that text?
Like, we know you got the text.
Yeah. And then she'll be like, yeah, I responded. And I'm like, ooh, let me hang up and read it, and I'll call you back.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but also it's like every relationship's different. I've been in ones where it's like you got to talk on the phone all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And me and my partner, we got a good balance where we're like, yeah, no,
That's good.
we're
Some of that gets too demanding.
yeah. And also she goes to sleep like early, even for like our time zone. So it's like there's the odds of me being able to call her after the show are like 0%.
Yeah. She's out.
Yeah, like even tonight when the show was at 7 and done by like 9, by the time I was done selling merch and everything, it was like 10. But then
That's 11 her time.
it's 11 her time. But even if it was 10 her time, there's
gone.
a chance she might be asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, but that would hypothetically be nice. Like I would probably
dating
talk
like
more.
an old lady.
Yeah. We'd probably talk on the phone more if I could call her after shows.
Yeah.
I gotta start doing shows in Europe. Why did my phone beep? I got a message from Colin.
Yeah.
It says you need anything.
You need it. I was trying to be a good host. Okay. I didn't realize my hosting duties would be the show and
Oh yeah.
my couch.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole thing.
You host and then you host.
Yeah. Danny did not tell me that.
And I'm gonna eat your flesh and blood. Whoa. No, but yeah, you that's like a nice thing. But no, being in a relationship is helpful with the stability of on the road stuff. Because otherwise, every night you're like, "Ooh, maybe I should follow this person." Oh, her and her friend are going to get pizza. I guess I'm gonna go get pizza
Yeah,
with
you
them.
don't have to worry about that chase.
Sure, I'll do a shot, and that it's 4 a.m. Okay, well now I guess I'll text the guy I'm gonna stay with, and hopefully he's awake. And then you roll up, and Colin's clearly been asleep.
Yeah.
And he goes, "No, yeah," and then I'm going, "Yeah, I went to the Bank Vault bar." And then you're like, "That's the worst bar in town." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I know. I got robbed." Anyways, can I use your phone to call the cops tomorrow morning? I'm gonna go to bed.
How often have you slept in your car?
I used to do it too much because
Really?
it's like comfy
Really?
and it's freeing. It's oddly freeing because you're like, there's no like rules.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're at people's house, you have to like leave by a certain time or whatever, or like they wake up or they have like a crazy dog or whatever the fuck. Or even on the flip side, it's like you're like, oh, I'm tired, but I'm gonna go to this guy's house and then he's gonna want to play Super Smash Brothers for like an hour or whatever. But if you're in your car, you're like, I can do whatever.
Yeah.
I can drive like a few hours to the next town and then sleep. I can just go to sleep.
Where's your go-to place to like park and sleep? Rest stops or like Walmart or what?
Well, I don't really do it. I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah,
I almost did it the other night, but then I wanted to get better sleep, so I splurged on a hotel.
Yeah.
Which I rarely do.
Yeah.
But then I usually will do rest stops, although I don't think you're supposed to sleep at a rest stop.
You just rest.
They always have signs that are like no overnight sleeping, and I think a lot of them have signs where they're like 3-hour maximum. Because I don't think they want people like camping out there by any means. Not like literally camping, but they don't want people like sleeping in their car. Like that stuff. Usually I'll do like a Walmart, Planet Fitness, someplace that's 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done it in a while, so I'm trying to think. Yeah. I'll take a little nap, but then you can just do that anywhere.
Yeah.
Go to a nice park overlooking the river. I'll take a nap.
Yeah.
For all they know, I'm some dude who went on a hike earlier
Yeah.
and is sleeping. No, sleeping in your car is nice. People who have like nice long like hatchback shit that they haven't like figured out, I'm always very jealous.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, because it's freeing, and then if you're a guy, it's like relatively safe. It's still pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
You still want to have a weapon of some sort.
What's your weapon of choice?
A big, I shouldn't tell you. I got a big lead pipe.
Really?
I got a jagged lead. It's jagged on one end. Big lead pipe. It's I can put it in my back pocket, And well, this doesn't help me in a car situation, but I can put it in my back pocket and cover it with my shirt. So then, you know what I mean? Huh!
Yeah.
Give me the check.
No, I'm glad I have.
We've already done duet karaoke 3 times, Jerry. Give me the check for the weekend. No, but I've never had to use the lead pipe. No, but I used to have in Louisville, the Louisville Slugger bat thing is there. The company. So everyone has little bats. It's like a common gift.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like engraved with whatever.
Yeah.
And I used to have a bat that was for when one of the comedy clubs in town like closed, like changed ownership and like closed to become the new place. They gave all the comics bats. So I had a little bat. And then that's nice because that you can like sleep with. Like I don't think I've slept in my car since the lead pipe days for like an actual night. Then the bat is nice because you can just it's not like a jagged lead thing.
Yeah.
But then I think I gave my girlfriend that bat, and then I have the lead pipe. I remember when the day I found the lead pipe.
Where did you find it?
Exactly where I needed it. No, it was all icy once. There was like an ice storm, and my car got like a little bit in like a bank, like from a turn, and there was a patch of ice, and then it like went just a little bit, so I was like stuck in between a thing. So I needed something to break the ice in between that was like making it uneven, so it would lower the car essentially. And then I was looking around like this alleyway, and I found a lead pipe with like a hollow thing in the middle. Which worked nice, because then I would hit it, and then the ice would just go into the middle. Then the lead pipe would get really cold, and then my hands would slowly freeze. But then afterwards, I remember being like, this was handy.
Yeah.
And then I just put it in my trunk, and then I did a really sketchy club in Alabama one time. Then I remember someone was like, you got to watch out, man. That guy owns that place. No good. And then I had them explain to me, and then I was like, oh, so I just need a thing, hypothetically.
Yeah.
And then I've thought about my trusty lead pipe. You got to be careful. Because also, I mean, I'd smoke weed, and my car doesn't exactly not smell like weed. So then it's like, you don't want to be sleeping somewhere and then have like a cop who's just curious. Like, hey, look, I'm just making sure everything's cool. Because I do have a friend who got busted for that. It was a huge pain in the ass. But that's how they got busted, was a cop was just like,
checking
hey,
out.
we see that you're sleeping in this like whatever the fuck parking lot. But no, there's places that are 24 hours, like Planet Fitness. Like most cities have Planet Fitness.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good one. For a little bit when I was doing it consistently, I had a Planet Fitness membership, so I could go anywhere, shower, and poop, and use the Wi-Fi, and fill up my water.
Yeah,
I got a nice cold filtered water thing.
Oh yeah.
So you go in there with some bottles, you fill it up. Ooh, baby, you get all the Tootsie Rolls you want. They had a massage chair I would use sometimes, but I never felt good. Like, it doesn't feel like, I don't know. Maybe I was using it wrong. I never once worked out.
I was gonna say,
capacity.
Did you ever work out? Nope.
No. But no, it was an absurd time. No, but that's a place because people are there 24 hours in and out. Yeah, it's hard though because the sun is an issue.
What?
The sun rises at like fucking 4:20 a.m. every day.
Yeah, that's true.
At least that's when my son gets up.
You gotta
I think it's coincidence though. No, the sun gets up so early and it's so hot, so it's like if you're on the road and you're like show is later at night and stuff, it's hard to sleep in it's hard to be like, all right, well it's 12:30. All right, bye everybody. I'm gonna go find a nice place to park and then go to sleep by 1 a.m. and then be awoken by the sun 5 hours later.
Yeah. That would be rough. Well, before we wrap up, I've been trying to ask people this question, like on a serious note, for people like.
Oh wait, can I say one thing really quick? If you do that kind of thing, which I'm not telling people to go sleep in their car and do like comics, that's not I think people are crazy. You should do stuff like that if you have to. That shouldn't be your like, I'm gonna do that. But then it's like, make sure you gotta like do normal shit. Like if you're sleeping in your car, you can't be Mr. Crazy Guy. You know what I mean? You gotta like stretch. You gotta be like getting good sleep.
Yeah.
Like eating healthy, you can't just be like, I'll get blackout drunk and sleep in my car. And then I'll wake up 6 hours later in the sun and go do a show that night and rock it. It's like, no, I mean, you gotta like, you know what I mean?
You gotta take care of yourself.
Yeah. Like if you can't just be like, or you gotta take your medicine, drink your proper water.
Yeah.
Don't just be like, oh, I'm in Colorado now. I'll buy as many edibles as I can legally buy and put them all in my body at once. And like not eat a single vegetable for like 3 weeks. You gotta do like smart things.
Yeah.
Balance it out. So it's like, okay, if you're sleeping in a car, you should probably like go for like a long walk that day.
Yeah.
And then maybe make sure you get a nice bed one of the next few nights.
Yeah. Strategize.
So yeah, there's a lot worse out there. There's a lot worse you could be doing than sleeping in a dang car, I tell you what. There's plenty of people out there in this planet that wish they had a Toyota Camry wrapped around their body on a chili. This guy's laughing at the homeless.
Just the way you described it. That it's not even laughing at the homeless.
Wearing a Toyota Camry like a coat.
Wearing a Toyota Camry.
This guy's gonna be wearing a coffin when I'm done with him.
We're talking about the homeless like that.
Yeah, but no, that is the thing. You gotta be you gotta be careful and safe and appreciative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I was going to ask was sorry, you got me laughing now. Wearing a car.
Wearing a car.
Wow. But no, I've been trying to ask people on the podcast this recently, just kind of as a good way to close things, is like if somebody's listening to this
recording?
Yeah.
Fuck.
We've been recording this whole time.
Oh no.
Oh no. If somebody's like listening and they're like struggling and, you know, having issues with it, like just life in general, you know, we've all struggled and been through those tough times. What would you say like has been something that's kept you going, like to keep going, and when you wanted to maybe either like give up on something that you're like, whether it's comedy or just giving up on life? Like there's people, not to get too dark, but like what would be something you would tell somebody that's struggling with their mental health?
Oh, you just gotta keep like the brain in your like everything changes. It's quite a long road. People forget how long the like road of like life is, which can sound daunting if you're like, oh man, life sucks. You're telling me this goes longer?
Yeah.
But it's like things really do wildly change.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like you never really know shit. And I know several people, myself included, who have like tried to like commit suicide or whatever, and then it didn't work. And then things are drastically different later to the point where you're like, oh, well, I don't even like really relate to the person who was in that mindset at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's important to remember stuff like that if you're in a mindset like that, because it's like, it truly is like, not only will I not feel this way, like maybe tomorrow or in a week or a month or whatever, but like I might feel disconnected from this completely. Like, and you never know. You also might get like a liver transplant, and then you take on the personality of the guy whose liver you got, and then you fall in love with his ex-wife, and then you die the same way he died, and then it's double whammy for that wife. It's a thing I read about online. But no, like literally stuff like that. Like you could be like, oh, I'm very depressed. I give up. And then you might get a head injury, and suddenly you're a Christian who sings opera. Or you could, you know, just wake up and be like, you know, sunsets are kind of cool. Maybe I'll paint them, and then that brings you the joy in life. And for like, there's so much like it's lazy and short-sighted, and in a existence where no one has the answer to anything. Mm-hmm. It's pretty wild to make any long-term decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy because for all you know, it's like reincarnation is real and suicide is a sin. And you doing that just means you're going to be stuck in a worse version of life next. And the best thing you can do is to keep, you know what I mean? Like you have no one has any idea.
Yeah.
So it's so silly to me, the idea of like, I mean, it's silly in hindsight now from like a more stable position. But it is like wild to be like, no, I know everything, and everything is pointing to hopelessness.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have no idea what's going on.
Because your brain, when you're in that mindset, your brain tricks you into believing that.
And if you believe that we're living on a prison planet with our souls being harvested by reptilians, that's first off, the idea of escaping that is actually bad because it means you're being wiped from eternity. Maybe that's good though.
Yeah.
We got to do another episode to discuss what's really going on.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's just no one has any fucking idea what's going on in any way at all. So it's weird. Like it will be okay because some people have like that's like such a silly oversimplified thing.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of in a way, everything.
But things change though. Like
everything will be okay, and perspective changes, and like I don't know. It's also wild because it's like technology changes. Like I know a guy who got his penis blown off.
Really?
Yeah, and at the time he's like, shit, this like completely sucks. And now he has like a pretty nice robot penis from what his wife tells me. No, but like truly, like, you have no idea. Like, there's like,
is that a bit? Or are you serious?
no, it's like real thing.
That's a real
real
thing.
thing. I do. Yeah. John, his name's John Bob. No, his name. I was trying to remember the name of the guy from the '90s who got his penis cut off. No, that is a thing. But yeah, so there's so much shit like that where it's like literally, and this is like a dumb thing, but it's like they could have a new cure for depression to like tomorrow that like just works for you that you have no idea and it just isn't out yet.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we found an herb in a melting ice cap.
Yeah.
We figured everything out. Because that's wild to think about. Like, cause I remember, because I take like antidepressants, and I remember thinking like that's wild. Because if I lived before antidepressants exist, I just like wouldn't be like functional.
Exactly.
But it's like there would be in some way. You just would figure it out. But then it's like you think of that on the flip side, and it's like, yeah, you'll be okay. You would have somehow my ancestors pushed through without medication.
Yeah.
And then now me with medication, I can do even better.
Yeah.
So it's like you can push through without it, and then you can hopefully get it if you need it, or whatever, or just drink more water. A lot of people I think just need to like drink more water, get off the dang. Put down phone, stop eat hot chip, no more lie. And what's that meme? It's also no, but it is just like also healthier stuff. Like people got to do, you got to sleep 8 hours, 8.5 hours, or whatever. You got to drink water. You got to like eat vaguely healthy stuff.
Yeah.
And get like, not even exercise, just like go walk around like once every like 5 days.
Yeah.
But I think something that's really important because it's like, I know with me it's like important, but then it's like I'll see people where it's like, oh man, yeah, getting out of that rut is so hard, and so much of getting out of that rut, or so much of not falling into that rut, is just like basic shit of like,
just
yeah,
continuing on and making sure you're at least doing not at the bare minimum. That's not a good way to say it, but like still keeping a routine of some sort.
Oh yeah. Yeah, routine of some sort, and then
not completely falling off and isolating and just being like, because that I feel like that slows down the process of getting better when you do things like that.
Yeah. No, the like it's somewhat just making yourself do shit you like don't want to normally do.
Oh yeah,
like we're all bad at that.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's very easy to be like, no, I've got all this planned for good stuff, and then just completely drop it on the flip side. But finding that balance is good.
Yeah.
Because like when you're overly psyched about like life, you probably have a bunch of plans you're not gonna follow through on. You probably don't need to follow through on. But then on the flip side, when you're like not psyched, there's shit you got to do, even though like you don't want. You know what I mean? You got to do that balance.
Oh yeah.
Go eat a damn apple. You know what I mean? Because that's like you come back to the road. It's like that so often. It's like, all right, well, I ate shit tonight and I got like screwed over on money. I didn't sell any merch. I'm gonna go get like a bunch of candy or something, or I'm gonna like go to Taco Bell, and then I'm gonna instead of eating the nice healthy food in my car, and then you do that, and then the next day you're like, shit, I like didn't make much money last night, and I spent $10 on like fast food, and now I like feel like slightly shittier and sluggish,
Mm-hmm.
and now like I feel oddly chubby, so now I'm gonna eat not a proper like full meal today, and then
Yeah.
my show tonight will be worse, and then blah blah. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a domino effect.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to stop. We went longer than expected, but that always happens with this show.
That's what she said. Good night, everybody.
Well, yeah, I appreciate it, man. I know you're probably tired. It's been a late
Oh,
night.
it's all good. What if I just go to sleep on the hammer right here? Ah, I'm surprised no one does that.
Yeah.
Live Twitch of sleeping. I don't know about
sure-
Twitch, man. I was about to say maybe that is a thing.
I'm sure it is the thing.
I guess you couldn't do chat. You couldn't do anything. You could be asleep. Yeah.
We could just leave the cam on.
Yeah, you
Some
leave the
old
cam
dudes
on.
pop on.
People could maybe do they tip so they could talk and try to wake you up.